Okay, my name is Dave from Black Leadership Analysis, and I wanted to talk to you for a second about Eric Shitty Cuz Holder and the death of Nipsey Hussle. So if you can, please like the video and also hit subscribe because I'm going to be doing more videos on psychology, integral theory, philosophy, and mental health in the black community. So there's been a lot of different videos on the death of Nipsey Hussle. And the conversation is centered around two things. One, you have the crazy conspiracy theory people who just have these completely just unfounded, conspiracy theories that, completely not able to prove anything, no facts to support it up, no government paperwork to support it. And then the other faction of videos is about the idea that black people are crabs in a barrel and we're jealous of each other and we hated to see Nipsey Hussle be successful, so of course someone black had to kill him. And I don't think either of those narratives are correct. So I've done a little bit of research on Eric Holder, who's the man who shot Nipsey Hussle. His nickname was Shitty Cuz. And I'm getting this information from Akintunde Nation, who I've interviewed before. Shout out to Akintunde if he watches this. Please leave a comment because you're one of my sources in this. And then also a YouTuber named Nick Fuller is Uncle Nick. And I have a playlist called SD Eric, in quotation marks, Shitty Cuz, quotation ends, Holder. So all the reputable videos I get about Eric Holder are going to be in there. And I'm going to keep doing research on him. So Eric Holder was a person who was schizophrenic, actually. He actually heard voices. And according to Nick, Uncle Nick, the medication he was on was making him lethargic, and he stopped taking it. So he wasn't taking his medicine for schizophrenia consistently. He got the name Shitty Cuz because he was raped while in prison. And during the rape, it was so violent, he lost control of his bowels. And from then on, everybody called him Shitty Cuz. Now, he tried to turn his life around after he left prison, and he tried to be a rapper. And his rapper name was Fly Mac. But he wasn't that good at it. So he never really went anywhere. And that's how he ended up in circles to where he knew Nipsey Hussle and other rappers. Yuck Mouth actually knows him. And he was also a Rolling 60s Crip, which is the same set of Crip that Nipsey Hussle's a part of. So they're both in the same set of Crip. So the day of the shooting, Eric Holder walks into Marathon Clothing, which is Nipsey Hussle's store. He owns the whole strip mall there. And Nipsey Hussle is talking to another fellow, and the other guy says that Shitty Cuz had snitched on some Rolling 60s. And so that's why Nipsey Hussle confronted him and kicked him out of the store. Now, the altercation between him and Shitty Cuz at the store, I've heard a lot of different stories about it. I've heard that Nipsey Hussle humiliated him, and I've also heard that he just asked him to leave. But whatever happened, Eric Holder was very upset on it, and then he got a pistol and came back and ended up shooting Nipsey Hussle in front of his daughter. And of course he ran, he tried to escape, and they've caught him recently, and now he's going to be jailed and he's going to stand trial. So what I want to talk about with this situation, had we had a better understanding of mental health in our community, this could have been avoided. First off, with people that have mental illness in our community, often we don't listen to them. And it's important to listen to those who have mental health problems in your community, because if he was saying that his medication was making him lethargic and he didn't want to take it, there's probably a medication he could have taken that wouldn't have done that. So if you have people that are mentally ill within your circle and they're telling you their medication isn't working, work with their providers to get different medication for them that won't do what they say it did. Another thing is we need to be more sensitive to people's trauma when they are in our communities too. You know, like there's no reason for him to be referred to as shitty because he was raped and he defecated on himself. I mean, think of how traumatizing it would be to relive your most humiliating, dehumanizing moment every time someone called your name. And it makes sense that he would aspire to be a rapper to pull himself out of that and be exalted. So it makes sense. So we should be more cognizant of people's trauma and what they've gone through, and try to work with them out more and help them out more. If he had had the proper mental health provisions and people had been treating him in the community with respect, he might have been rational enough to avoid the situation at Marathon Clothing. He might have walked into Marathon, saw who was there, realized these are people who are going to berate me and make fun of me, and I'm just going to leave from the situation before it escalates to something serious. And if we had had that man his correct mental health care, we could have avoided this whole situation. And I think that our community really needs to look at these things deeply and not waste a whole lot of time on completely unfounded conspiracy theories, and also not waste a lot of time just denigrating ourselves, saying that we're all just crabs in a barrel. I mean, the definition of racism is this belief that there's something just inherently wrong with black people, that we're just inherently inferior. And just constantly talking about we're crabs in a barrel isn't getting us anywhere. I mean, you got to look at these situations, at these individual people and what they've gone through, and understand how the trauma kept multiplying and multiplying and multiplying until they acted out in a violent way against another black person. And when you understand it from that perspective, you can have really constructive conversations. So the people that are watching this video, I want you, once you're done with it, stop and think about the people in your life who could be mentally ill or you know are mentally ill. Are they telling you things about their medication or their therapy that isn't okay or that needs to improve, and are you listening to them and taking them seriously? Because one of the biggest problems in mental health care is that the people don't have a good support system, and because they're mentally ill, people discredit what they have to say in their opinions. So I think in our community we need to really look at that and really change course with that, and understand how to really interact with those in our community who have mental illness, and also be a lot more sensitive to people's trauma. I mean, the fact that everybody online is referring to him as shitty cuz is just ridiculous. Like, people shouldn't just be calling him shitty cuz. I mean, he was Eric Holder. He also had a rap nickname, which was Fly Mac. I mean, there's lots of other ways to refer to him. And by always calling him shitty cuz, we actually added to his trauma. And I think that's something very common in the black community, is not really being sensitive to other people's trauma. And I think we need to work on that, and we need to like kind of circle the wagons and get better with that. So that's all I have to say on the Nipsey Hussle situation with Eric Holder. And leave your comments below. But don't be in the comment section calling me a Masonic CIA agent Jewish person or something like that, because that's just ridiculous. I'm not part of the Illuminati. I wasn't sent here by like the CIA or the FBI to confuse people. This is reliable information about mental health in our community. And I really want the comment section on this video to be focused on how we can improve the mental health in our community and the mental health care in our community. So I'll see you. Bye.